I'm telling you this story very quickly because we all have a story. You have a story. You're probably watching this video because you want to get started as well in music licensing or in royalty-free libraries, which I believe is the easiest way for anybody, any musician, composer. I mean, if you're a gigging artist, for example, this is the time to start getting involved in royalty-free music, because all you have to do is just record some music and upload it to Pond5, and just to name a few, Pond5, Audio Jungle. And you just can slowly build your catalog and start earning some money on the side. I started from zero. I had no tracks, I had no profile, nothing. And that's how I got started. And I got started really out of necessity. So this is just going to be a very quick video to tell you the story of how I got started doing stock music. When I moved from England to Greece here with my wife and my first daughter, Fedra, we were meant to be working in a small coffee shop, family-owned business that it was run by my in-laws. And me and my wife were going to take over that business. And that business failed and collapsed completely in a matter of months. We lost a lot of money that we have saved to invest in that business. And everything went down the drain very quickly. I found myself here in Greece without any type of income or any employment. This was my entry really here to Greece, to actually get into the workforce and start earning money as a first-time father. And the same for my wife. My wife is Greek, and this is the first time she came back to Greece after many years living abroad. And she left Greece when she was very, very young, and here she is with a husband and a daughter, and married, and we're ready to start a new life here in Greece. And we came in the midst of the Greek crisis. And to cut the story short, really, I found myself unemployed, and I stayed at home with my daughter, my first daughter, Fedra, and my wife, that is Greek and she knows the language properly. She went into the marketplace really to look for employment and to work, so she was the main breadwinner at that time. And I stayed behind at home, taking care of my daughter. And I was looking for ways to how can I earn money, and I was feeling really demoralized about the whole situation. And it was really hard for me the very first time in my life that I felt really powerless when it came down to earning potential. And here I am taking care of my daughter at home. She was very young, she was 2 years old, and this is before she went into kindergarten or any preschool or anything like that. And but we were still suffering financially a lot, because my wife was the only she was the breadwinner of the family. And I don't have a problem with the woman being the main source of income for a family. But for me, I felt very powerless, because I have always been earning money one way or another. I have always had a day job. And I've been very lucky, I've been very fortunate to have a day job around music throughout my life, throughout my adulthood. And here I am in this strange country, which is now my home. And when I say strange, it's not because it's not my country, so it's my home away from home, really. And I started to look for ways of how can I earn money while still taking care of my daughter, Fedra, at the time, so I could be at home and at the same time build something on the side. And that's how I stumbled across music licensing. And more specifically, royalty-free libraries, because royalty-free libraries is a little bit of an easy way. Was an easy way to get your foot in the door of music licensing. I don't have to approach any music supervisors. I don't have to apply for no funny higher end library and wait for a reply, and maybe wait for to get a placement, and then wait for maybe some back end royalties, or wait for some upfront sync fee as well. I wanted something fast and something quick, and royalty-free libraries were a godsend for me at the time, and that's how I stumbled across it. I'm telling you this story very quickly because we all have a story. You have a story. You're probably watching this video because you want to get started as well in music licensing or in royalty-free libraries, which I believe is the easiest way for anybody, any musician, composer. I mean, if you're a gigging artist, for example, this is the time to start getting involved in royalty-free music, because all you have to do is just record some music and upload it to Pond5, and just to name a few, Pond5, Audio Jungle. And you just can slowly build your catalog and start earning some money on the side. I started from zero. I had no tracks, I had no profile, nothing. And that's how I got started. And I got started really out of necessity. And I have done a podcast about this, how I got started, and it was released today. I'll leave the link in the description, where I tell the story a little bit more in detail. It's a story that I've told before, because we all have a story, and like I said, I'm sure you have yours. But my story is not the one of the artist that is in a band and I stumble across this and let's just see what happens. For me, it was completely, it was a necessity. I wanted to really make it, and I really start earning some money with royalty-free libraries, but I wanted to earn a full paycheck and I wanted to really do it from home. So I was very passionate about the whole idea of working from home and really producing the best music that I could possibly make, and really build this on the side as a legitimate business, and that's how I got started. It's not as glamorous as some might think, and it's not something that I did on the side while I still had a day job, which I have mentioned before many times before. I wish I had a day job so I didn't have that pressure of really produce some income, and but that was the determining factor for me to start uploading music to royalty-free libraries, and really had a goal of doing what I wanted to do. So the message of this video is that if you're going through a crisis, if you've been laid off because of the whole COVID-19 or coronavirus and you're on lockdown, or whatever is happening in your professional world, it's a good thing. Whenever we go through crisis, it's a good thing, because that's exactly when you're going to be put to the test, and that's exactly when you are going to rise above, and your energy will always level up with the situation with that you're living in right now, if that makes any sense. Back then, when I first got started, I was going through some kind of transition in my life, I guess, and a midlife crisis of all kinds. I'm a father for the first time. I've just moved from the UK to Greece. We're having issues financially, and obviously when you have financial issues, you have a lot of financial issues at home, and as well with your partner, and being a father for the first time is no easy task. So we experienced a lot of things very quickly, moving from another country to another, being unemployed and being parents for the first time. And I was really, as a person, I was in a crossroad in my life, and I decided to do many changes, mentally and physically and financially as well. So it was a lot of soul searching, and that's why probably my YouTube channel I come across as very motivational or inspirational and telling stories, because it's very important. It's the reason why I'm here today, and it's the reason why I do what I do. And I'm very passionate about working from home. I'm very passionate about empowering other musicians and composers or artists to just get rid of that stereotype of that myth of the starving artist, really, because I've been there, and we don't need to starve. We can really build a business, and royalty-free libraries, even though you don't get paid very much per track, you could start building up, and that could slowly turn into a snowball effect for sure. For me, it was amazing to just be able to match the paycheck of my wife and beyond. And when I got there, I was really excited and started like really documenting my journey, and that's how this YouTube channel started. And if you go back to my old videos, you will see that the YouTube channel was really about vlogs and to get started in doing something. And I was presenting myself a lot as a stay-at-home dad, because that's the label I have put myself. That's all I knew. I don't mention anymore that I am a stay-at-home dad, because things have evolved in a different direction now. I am a stay-at-home dad in a way, but my wife now works from home, and which is a dream come true for both of us. And we have a second daughter, and you know, I'm heavily involved in my children's life. But I'm very passionate as well about building a business online through my music, and teach others to do the same thing, and really start something one step at a time. It's not something that happens overnight, but it's totally doable, and it's one of the main reasons why I'm here, and I show up every day. I show up not only on this channel, but as well to my desk. I did a video yesterday as well about consistency. And these topics are really important to me, and they are very important to my family, because without this, we could not enjoy the life that we have today. And for me to be able to stay at home and work and do my music, do my videos, do my courses, I mean, it's something that it's been mind-blowing. And if you're going through a crisis, it's a good thing. Maybe right now you don't see it like that, But I wouldn't change anything. For me, whatever happened back then, before I started uploading my music to Audio Jungle and Point 5, it was a very crucial moment for me, and I was going through a crisis for sure, in all aspects, because when you don't have income, or you don't have a job, or you just, I didn't even have unemployment benefit. That's how bad it was. I couldn't even rely on unemployment benefit. It's a long story. My story is a long story, but in short, my success comes from a crisis. And one of my mentors says that life is problems, problems, crisis, and then more problems, problems, and then another crisis. But it's in a positive way if you choose to see it like that. So now we're going through a crisis, and for me it's a very exciting times, because even though we're blessed that we're okay in terms of health with this whole coronavirus thing, I have met people who have been infected and even that had died from it. But for those of us who are still here, and we can take control of something, we can take control of the situation, but really understanding that crisis like this is only an opportunity for us to really go to the next level, whatever that level is for you. For me, has been doing different things and really increasing the output of what I do in terms of music and in terms of content. So the crisis will pass, and it's up to you to make the best out of it. Now, if you're not going through a crisis yourself, it will happen. And that's why you have to be prepared, and that's why you have to be aware that when it happens, you have to make the best out of it, okay? Just because I went through a crisis back then before I started uploading my music to royalty-free libraries, and I went through a transformation, that doesn't mean that I might not have some more crises coming in the future. And that's why I keep my eyes on the ball always, and always growing, because the more I grow, the more I invest in myself, and the more I nurture that, the more I can be prepared for the next time something comes along. And I want to make sure that I am prepared for the next time, and I do believe that this was one of them, actually, with this whole coronavirus. I was a little bit better equipped, not only financially, but as well mentally, to do the right thing for me and my family. And we moved to this beautiful place where we live. I have documented the whole thing, and it's proof that when the rest of the world is going through crisis and layoffs and all of this, lockdowns, here I am doing something that is a little bit more unrealistic for most. And even within my family, people have been laid off. My mother lost her job, and she lives in America, in the US, after 20 years. That's fucking unbelievable. But I guess it's a message of hope. It's a message of that we all have a story. I'm just sharing little bits and here and there of my story. But I can easily go into details, and it's a little bit more dramatic, really. But that's it. It is what it is. Like I said, I've done a podcast episode about this. It's a little bit more emotional, I guess, in nature, and I might do a second part, because the story needs to be told as I go along with this journey of mine. The link is in the description if you want to go and check out the podcast, and I might tell more about these stories and details and where I was mentally, in order for you to see the Daniel that you see today here in this video, which is a Daniel that is very confident, very positive, and quite frankly unstoppable. And I'm not being cocky, but this has to be nurtured, and it's been hard work, and it's been work in the makings on a daily basis. Even today in the morning, I had to work on that in order to make sure that I'm there, that the energy is there, or at least the determination is there. So anyways, I hope this video does that for you, really, or my videos in general. Again, if you're somebody that is new to music licensing or to royalty-free libraries, download my free guide, link in the description. I have a free workshop as well, link in the description. Go and check that out. As always, thanks a lot for the love and support. Thanks for subscribing to the channel, for all the messages, emails. It really means the world to me. And as always, rock and roll, and here's to your success.